In Fairfield County, something new comes across my desk every day. Crimes are committed, cases are solved, and a community is made safe by the hardworking employees of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phelan, a weekly program here on LancasterOhio.tv. We're also carried by a number of radio affiliates here in Lancaster. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. This program is actually taped at Fairfield Christian Academy. Our behind-the-scenes executive producer is Kelly Roberts. She does a great job lining the guests up and the questions. And back by popular demand is Amy Kabel. This is the second time you've been on the program.
Nice to see you, Sheriff.
It's good to see you.
Thank you, too.
And the last time you were on, we were getting ready for the Sheriff's Office calendar, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And before we get started with some new things coming up, tell us a little bit about what the Hank Kabel Sarcoma Foundation is and how you came about founding it.
Yeah. So I had a dog named Hank, and in 2013 he was diagnosed with sarcoma. And sarcoma is a rare cancer of the connective tissue, and it can occur anywhere in the body, and it can happen in dogs and people, but it happens more in dogs than people, 5 times more in dogs.
Okay.
And then the second most common is in children. So when he was diagnosed, we ended up treating him the same way that people are treated. We had radiation, we had 3 different kinds of chemo, 3 different surgeries, all the same types of thing as people go through. And he ended up fighting it for 20 and a half months before I lost him. And then in 2014, when I lost him, I was like, something's got to be done about this. 1 in 3 dogs are dying of cancer. And I just didn't feel like enough was being done. And so that's when I started the Hank Kabel Sarcoma Foundation. And basically our mission is to raise money and awareness for not only canine cancer, but also sarcoma.
Now, does the research for dogs and people, or do they parallel each other?
Yeah, so dogs are 85% genetically like people. So they'll start in the laboratory, like in the mouse model, and if it works in the mouse, they'll move on to the dog model. But if it doesn't work in the dog, they don't advance it into the humans.
Okay.
Because chances are if it doesn't help the dog, it's not going to help humans. And so a lot of people don't realize how important the dogs are to the clinical trial process.
And is sarcoma, is that typically something that is critical? Is that a life-threatening type of cancer? I don't know much about it.
Very deadly disease.
Yes.
Yeah.
So some of the ways that you raise money is races.
Yeah.
And that's coming up.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yep. So our race is going to be July 15th, and it's at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds. And registration is from 7:30 to 8:30, and then we have an opening ceremony at 8:30, and then the race starts at 9 o'clock.
Okay. Now, for our viewers or listeners that may want to be a part of that, or maybe they want to be a sponsor, right? You need sponsors.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
How do they go about doing that?
So if you would like to be a runner, all you have to do is go to the Hank Kabel Sarcoma Foundation and sign up on our website. And then volunteers can contact me also through that foundation website. We need people to help with our vendor booth, people on the racetrack to go around and make sure people are going the right way for the race, parking, so there's lots of ways you can help. And then we're looking also for donations from businesses. So a way that businesses can help is if they donate $50, they're considered a sponsor. And so that helps to pay for the things that we have to deal with the race. We will announce you on Facebook. You will go in the bag that all the runners are going to get. The first 100 runners gets a bag full of goodies.
Okay.
And we'll put it in that. And you'll also get a sign along the race that has your business name on it.
And the date again for that?
It's July 15th.
Okay. So not far off.
Right. Coming up soon.
Okay. And is this the first time you've done a race?
No, last year was our first year, and so this will be our second one.
Okay, well, how'd last year go?
So last year went really well. We ended up raising, I think just from our raffle baskets, around $300. And altogether, I think it was almost $3,000. So my goal this year is to double that.
Okay.
Yeah, last year we had about 48 runners, so my goal this year is 100.
And then once you raise the money, where does it go from here?
So we donate to two different colleges, the two that are on the cutting edge of research. One is Ohio State, and the other one is Colorado State University. And they're
Okay.
the two places that I took Hank. So after we went to Ohio State and they told me they couldn't help him anymore, we drove 20 hours out to Colorado.
Really?
And they ended up doing a procedure on Hank that is very new. It's called a limb-sparing hemopelvectomy. So the first place I had taken Hank before Ohio State wanted to remove half of his hip and his leg to get the tumor out.
Yeah.
But in Colorado, they could actually just surgically go in and remove that and keep his leg and his hip intact.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they're the two colleges that are on the leading edge of cancer
Yeah.
research.
You probably never dreamed 5 years ago that you would be involved in this, did you?
No, and that's what someone asked me a few weeks ago. If I would have told you 5 years ago how your life would be different, I would have said
Right.
you're crazy. It's
Right.
funny how, you go down a different path in life due to things that happen.
Right, right. I'm going to change subject here for just a few minutes, and then next week we'll be back and talk more about it and some other things that are coming up. You are part of our Community Watch
Yes,
group.
yes.
And for our viewers and listeners that may not know what the Community Watch is, it is a group of volunteers. I think we have probably 80 to 90 volunteers now, and it's been in place for about 9 years. And it's a group of volunteers that go through training. Will you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah.
Because now you are a Community Watch member. How long have you been a member?
So it would be, let's see, probably about a year now.
Okay.
Almost.
Have you
Yeah.
enjoyed that?
I've had such a wonderful time. Yeah, we started in classwork, I think it was last March.
Okay.
And we finished up around May, if I remember right, May or June. And I just love interacting with the citizens of Lancaster, going out to the different events. We had such a good time at the fair and the Sweet Corn Festival. And we just had Kids and Cops Day a couple weeks ago, and that was so fun.
Right.
I just love interacting, with people and representing our sheriff's office.
And if someone is out there listening or viewing the program today, if they're interested in becoming a part of our Community Watch group, they can get a hold of our sheriff's office, get on our website, www.sheriff.fairfield.oh.us, and Sergeant Hendershot actually heads that program up. We probably will be starting a class sometime in the next 3 or 4 months. We try to get enough to make it worthwhile. But typically it's about, 40 hours of training, classroom training, and then they spend time with a senior Community Watch member.
Right.
And so it's a great extension of the eyes and ears of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. And it has just been, it's probably the one program since I've been sheriff that I think has probably been the most successful
Yeah.
out of all of them.
It is.
So have you had anything that surprised you as far as with the Community Watch? Anything that's kind of like you didn't, I guess you probably see even law enforcement from a little different perspective.
Yeah, well, that's why I actually got into the Community Watch, because I was friends with a lot of the deputies and
Right.
had such a good experience with them and just such good people. And that's what drew me into the Community Watch. And then we did the calendar for Hank.
Right.
And I thought, what can I do to give back for what they're doing for us? And so that's what initially got me involved. But it's just been such a wonderful experience. Everyone works together.
Yes.
And it's just such a good way to give back to the citizens and in a positive way.
And the other thing I just might remind our viewers and listeners about, we are opening, as most of you may or may not know, our new Fairfield County Jail and Administrative Building. That is opening probably as we speak. And this is going to give us additional opportunity for volunteers.
Yeah.
And someone may be saying, well, I'm not really feel like going out and riding around in one of the Community Watch cars. Maybe there's some health issues going on,
Right.
but you can still play a big part, because we're going to need a lot of volunteers within that building to
Right.
help when people come visit prisoners,
Right.
administratively. And so now your part in Community Watch, what have you been doing?
So I've been doing the events, and I've also been doing the ride-alongs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a permanent partner? Or do you just ride around with who's available?
No, just kind of someone who's available, because I'm so busy myself,
Yes.
and a lot of these people that do it are still working, and so we kind of try to see our schedules, and they're pretty good about working with you, even if you think you're too busy, they can find time for you, whether it be in the daytime, the nighttime, whether it be a ride-along, or even just to go to some of the events and put in a few hours, whatever you can do.
I've had some of our Community Watch members that even tell us that citizens will come up and talk to them where they may not be comfortable talking to a
Yes,
deputy.
that's true.
Yeah.
That actually happened to one of my friends. She's no longer in Community Watch, but she was at the concert series that happens in July. And
Okay.
she was actually in the bathroom when
Yeah.
that happened. And someone said, hey, and they were in the next stall over, and they said, I want to tell you something. There was something going on with someone they knew, and they didn't want to do it out in the open. So they chose that as the spot.
Between the stalls.
Yes.
That's kind of unusual. I'll say.
Unusual, but it got across the information that needed to be given to
Yeah.
authorities, so.
Yeah, and so I think, one of the things with the sheriff's office is we want to do a lot of outreach.
Yeah.
And this has been the other thing, and Sergeant Hendershot comes in now, and then he can tell everybody a lot about it, but they have put in like thousands of hours.
Oh, definitely.
And saved probably hundreds of thousands of taxpayers' money just by doing that program.
Yes, they're always, and we have a few that just go above and beyond. The one gentleman I think of, he said, I don't even have time to cut my grass anymore because I'm always doing
Yeah,
community
yeah.
watch, because his partner loves to do the ride-alongs, and so he volunteers his time, and because he knows he's going to have a good time, and it's a good way to give back and serve your community.
It's a terrific way. I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Again, we're down to just less than a couple minutes. Before we go off the air, tell anyone listening or viewing how they can register for the race.
Yep.
And how to get in touch with you.
Yep. So you can go to the Hank Cable Sarcoma Foundation.com, and you can go ahead and register for the race there. And there's also a way to contact me if you're a business and you would like to be a sponsor or donate money, or even if you're a person and you just want to volunteer your time that day.
And what's the website?
And it's called the Hank Cable Sarcoma Foundation.com.
Okay, so everyone's welcome. We got the race
Definitely.
coming up.
Yep.
When we come back next week, we're going to talk a little bit about the calendars.
Yes.
We did one last year, and we're going
Yeah.
to, and you've got a great story to tell about this
Yeah.
year's
Yes.
calendar too.
It's exciting.
And we're just about out of time, so do appreciate Amy Kabel, the founder of the Hank Kabel Sarcoma Foundation, and you've just done a terrific job on that.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
you
Sheriff.
coming
Thanks for
in to
having
visit
us.
us. We'll see you next week,
That
same
sounds
time,
great.
same place.
Thank you.
And for you, the listeners, do appreciate you joining us. If it's you're going to be going on vacation, I want to remind everyone we have a community vacation watch, or a sheriff's office community sheriff's office vacation watch program, and all you have to do is call into the sheriff's office, give us a few days ahead of time, and we'll be glad to keep an eye on your home while you're gone. Also, when you get back, we send you a letter indicating the dates that we checked, and so just a great extra edge of protection for your home. Well, the clock on the wall says we're just about out of time. Again, I want to thank Kelly Roberts, our executive producer, J.T. Burcham in from summertime just to help us put this program on while school's out, and certainly to you, the viewers and listeners. Till next week, same time, same place. God bless, and we'll see you right here next week.